Yo! It's me, it's Wolfren! Oh yay, face reveal! Okay, so, um, basically being a YouTuber can be really difficult, okay? And there is a lot of work, a lot of drama when you try to record things, everything goes south, okay? So basically, yes, I had some complications these weeks with the recordings, or like I had nothing, no one to play against, or we were missing cards, then we would record and something dramatically had happened in the game that made the game stay completely illegal and we did not realize. Okay, so basically, I have not been posting for a while, and that's the reason. Like, I have a Shiranui video on the making, but like I'm still missing one of the fights because we did not have more time to record. Okay, so basically, yes, more content, it's coming on the way. And I want to talk about this one in particular because, we are human and we have some very bad days and we do everything completely wrong, okay? So yeah, I want to use today's video to show how to not play the heck, okay? But like one thing I have in mind when I'm making the videos, it's like try to show the real thing, and normally the real thing works, but today it just doesn't, okay? And so, but I still want to show you because I think it's important to learn from the mistakes. And I don't know, like Einstein like had to make, I don't know, like 2000 lights clean before he got the right one. And I think sometimes like showing not the right way can also be good for learning. And also because I have been a lot of days without posting, so I will also put the illegal games at the end where the deck works more. So yeah, you have a very long video here, so you can just enjoy as much as you want. So yeah, we're going to learn Zorga as usual. Okay, so this is the weird list. I know a lot of people have tried that, and apparently it doesn't work for like anyone, but it works for me, and this is like why I always encourage with Zorga. Like there is the like we play what we think is optimal. That's obvious, but I think what's obvious well, like there is not just one way. Like for Varga, there is only one way because you have that much pool of cards. But for Zorga, maybe there is different ways of actually using the cards in an optimal way. So yeah, I just want to show what it has been working for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. Just play it pure, okay? Dentro video. Hello, it's me again, Wolfren 2.0. Okay, so today the Fated Clash brings us to Zorga versus Rezael, the tabboo against the Kisekis, the miracles, okay? Okay, so I think like we should like 100% be able to beat Rezael if we play normally. Okay, so let's try to figure out what to do. Like I think if we go first, we definitely like we go for the normal game plan. We do Nadir turn 3 with the overcoming game plan. Then we personalize turn 4. We win for eternity and we just win. And maybe there is some deviations to that if we like have access to the overcoming or not, but usually it should be easy. Okay, it should be easy if we do things normal. Our game plan is to overcoming turn 2, as I said, overcoming turn 2, then we start grinding, etc. Okay, if you don't have like Kutir, then you have to do other stuff, but fortunately, like running 5 copies of overcoming in total, it usually comes. The only problem for me with the deck is like when you like if you see the Kutir, that's good, but if you don't see the Shadow Cloak with relative ease, like fast enough, like at most turn 4, the game becomes like overly complex in the sense that you cannot win, you cannot do what you should be doing. Okay, but usually the Blitz Order and a decent amount of push and Shadow Cloak, it's just enough to win the games. Of course, some cards can be missing, but Okay, so this game is starting not as well because we don't have the overcoming and then we have a problem. Okay, that's a shadow cloak. That's very nice. We should be able to play. We should. I... Also, I think like Rezael going second, it's like super slow. Like super slow. Very slow. Tranquilla got really good now, though, because Nilbaris gives you soul, so you are never punished for running it. Maybe if you don't have the 3 grades, but you should definitely have them, and it should work, okay? Here we have the Kill Severing Engine, which is the last addition I made. You just need that card for the turn 5, like it's for a very late game. If you don't see it, that's fine. Like, Pure Nadir doesn't run it, right? And if you don't see it, you don't insta-lose because you don't run the card. So, what's the problem for that, right? That's just like, I feel there is like certain amount of cards in the deck that are not there because they are good, they are just there because you need to fill the deck somehow. So yeah, I just choose to use those 3 slots on 3 cards for the mask package, and you know, it's just not about not pushing it when it's not the right timing, which I probably do here. I don't remember, I just remember playing super bad, like super obvious things, you know, those things you never do wrong, but somehow I do it. I do them wrong here. But it's good because like there is those tricks you have to do turn 3, like you can Archemagic first or after the Nadir skill, and you can use the RPDs to kill your own great ones to call them back, or the opposite, depending on what you need. So we will talk about this here, okay? This is too many damage to be taking. You can... no, but I'm taking just 1, okay? Yeah, because the last time. It was fine. I just got distracted for a moment. Also, I think the energies work properly during the whole game. Like, I love energies as a mechanic, but having to keep track of something, like when you play on CFA, it's automatic. It's just when you press right, you get 3 energies, right? You don't need to remember generating it. I really struggle with keeping track of outside things that should be automatic. Here, for example, if you Alchemagic first, here we cannot Alchemagic first, okay, because we didn't have the overcoming, but here if you could Alchemagic first, you can use the RPDs to kill your great ones. We bind that, which is fine. This is okay, this is just good, like there is no other way of doing it. Yeah, that's fine. Well, it's not as terrible as I remember. Yay. Usually you have to forbid all for the persona, right? Then you can set up the mask and leave it there. You can, for example, you can just put the booster on the other side and you keep the Zorga mask on the board. And like for 3 turns, and you eventually just bounce it. I think I'm just about to get baited by myself and bounce the wrong card. Isn't that amazing? Like, I think if you run the masks, that's fine, but you need to know what you are doing, because suddenly it becomes bad when you misplay. Like, I completely get that. Oh, I'm not getting baited by, okay, I'm doing it well. I'm not seeing the misplays, but then what was the problem? Like, I remember, like, I don't know what happened with me that day, but I left the games and I was like, I'm so bad. I felt so bad after playing. But it's fine. Like, if you ever feel like you are not good enough, or like that happens to everyone, okay? And it's important, like, to stay chill, calm. It's just a process, and we're human. We can have bad days, definitely. We also heal, and we also attack with the banger first, so we can enable the heal. Yes. Also, I'm running the hedgehog. Like, literally, I have 0 defense issues, and I'm so happy when they matter for good. Like, what's the problem? Shiranui does 19 swings. I don't care giving them the hedgehog there instead of the 15. It's the same. But when it matters, and it's so good. So it's similar for Messiah. They have those 15, 23 hits before they start scaling. You can just put the heals there, okay? How am I losing this? Do I lose that even? I'm sure there is some misplay. I remember the misplays. Okay, we do actually have an order to play next turn. The problem is we don't have a second order. We do have a second order in drop zone. Here we can... Like here, you don't get bait. You have all the pieces for the masks, okay? But you just go first. Your masks is your follow-up turn for turn 5. There is a lot of situations where the masks is essentially Soul Charge 1 Nadir turn. Like if you don't have the Divine anymore, it's still better than just personal riding normally. You gain more soul, it's more sustain, it's easier, and you would be running some order you would not even be activating anyway, so yeah. Suddenly it's Christmas. I think this version is extremely good, like in the Mirror match, in the Rezael match, in the Eva match, all of those decks that try to green and scale. Like if you go first, you do the 4 attacks, they don't have PGs anymore, and you repeat the Persona right turn with 4 attacks again, they are so dead. And you can also choose, like, you can give the power to the boosters and just scale the masks turn with a plus 25k, or just make use of the 10k of the Zorga mask and just call cards to bounce. Like you can revive a Shadow and a PG and just use the extra soul to get the PG back, and you have a regular masks turn with the extra grinding, and you have the Blitz order, which is something like you can Nadir buffs masks turn both, well, either on defense or in aggression. You have to choose, but it's very good to be able to do that. You can also, like, if you fall behind going second, you can grind a lot of cards with masks, even if the turn 4 is a bit quicker. That also works. Like if you need to accelerate sustain for resources, you can trade a bit of aggression for turn 4, even if you don't keep personal riding again next turn, in order to accelerate the way or the speed of your grind, in order to stabilize. That's something you can also do. Like I think masks is a very complex card in this deck to be using. I get baited in a wrong way for the card sometimes, but I think it's a card that rewards good and smart thinking, so I like it. And for me, it's just about learning, you know. Eventually you get the things in place, the puzzle gets solved. But if you don't try, if you play the deck with expectations of winning, that's not the deck for you. Like you should be playing the deck as a puzzle to solve, as something that makes you be happy and have fun every time you play it. Like, because recently, like, there's been a lot of drama on Twitter about Zorga, because Zorga is that card that people either loves or hates. And right, if you pick the deck because it's meta, because it will make you win, you will not win at all. The only way the deck will eventually make you win, because it will make you win, is if you try to solve it, try to enjoy it, have fun with it. If you are struggling or not having fun with it, why do something complicated? Just pick something else that you like more. And this deck really needs you to go through a losing strike, accept you need to learn it, and then it's when you start winning. I'm sorry because I'm not keeping track of the mistakes, but the philosophy is needed as well. So probably here, do I have the persona right? I should have it, right? So maybe what is happening is that I do not, like, I mask when I shouldn't or something. Yeah. But if I'm honest, I feel like Rezael is too fair for what Zorga does when it does it. And it does it decently often. It's not so rare. You just, the problem is, it's hard to tell if the problem is that particular build, if you did a misplay, or if you were unlucky. It's hard to tell what is going on, you know, because there's a lot of variables and you don't know if the problem is the card on that slot, if that's the good or card, or you should be drawing something else, or if you misplayed the shadow 3 turns prior. It's hard to tell where the problem lays, so it's very important to stay critic and open. If you lose a game, and your first intention is say, oh, there was a double crit. Could you have guarded better? That's a question I would ask myself, you know? And that's like, we should assume, maybe the solution is, okay, we were unlucky. That happens, that's fine, if that's the case, okay? But we need to be open to analyze the whole process, because there's a lot of instances where you just didn't discard the Alana, you forgot to call the Alana, you forgot to Solar the Alana. Maybe you should not rush the Blitz Order as much, wait for neutral when it's actually 10k more shield and it's Soul Charge 1 because you are not wasting it too soon. Other things. Like the other day, I didn't mill Malice and I lost a locals game, which was my fault. The game was super won and I was missing one soul 2 turns later. And I knew I needed that soul. The worst is that I knew. Yeah, now I kinda want to use the video because, I don't know, I'm expressive, and also I'm a bit handsome. Am I handsome? You can say it on comment. So I kinda want to place my face on the video now. Maybe that's a new trend. I don't know, a lot of people. Hey yo, I'm back. Time for the video to get desynchronized because I ran out of memory. Yay. Okay. I don't know what we were saying. I'm sorry for deciding mid-video that I would appear in it. I don't know where I will place my face. There is no space in the video for me to appear. We will discover it soon. Okay, we are using... Okay, what am I doing? What is happening? What is happening? Now I do not have the cards. Okay, so the Alchemagic has to whiff because I don't have another way and now I have to call it. But isn't that fine? Yeah, but we're missing one soul because Alanite's not there, right? That's the problem. We want to use the Blitz Order. Yeah, probably we don't have enough hand to survive. And that's the only issue. And maybe I just thought it was worse than it actually was. Sometimes that's very... something... I don't know, I feel like I'm very dramatic. They have a lot of hand, right? Because like the Dogo and the Nilberis, that makes it easier for, like, it's like some kind of Astroea vibes where they draw a lot and they grab the 4 PGs fast. Like Astroea wants to burst you down, so they just use all the PGs all at once. But Rezael has them, then they can survive another turn because they have the Divine skill. It's definitely hard to kill. And the problem here is that I don't have soul. Like, I'm not sure if I don't have the soul because I milled something wrong, like I don't have the malice. Yeah, this malice, with this malice we would have been able to have another PG, then maybe we survive. They are also here. Well, but it's fine because... Oof. Ah no, but it's 5 attacks. Okay, I thought he just took the 6 damage, and like, it's risky. They actually took the Zorga here, and we didn't hit a crit, it would have been lethal. Yeah, okay, so here the problem is, like, I'm not sure if I'm missing, like, I don't know, the Coutier, or if I milled wrong, because here we would have really appreciated having the Alana. What did we call turn 2? Did we have the option to call the Alana instead of the Philander, I think it was? Those are tiny questions. One problem to Forvidol is like, you are farming cards in hand, but those cards are not shield. And that Overcoming did not grab as a Blitz Order either. So we technically didn't plus that turn. I think it's important, like Overcoming really farms you, but when it doesn't, like it's easy like to play 3 games, be super tanky because everything went well, and then the 4th game not do the adjustment required to fit the situation where you are not able to farm the resources. And suddenly you are playing a game with 4 cards, 4 meaningful cards less in your hand. Like here it happened, here it's like what I feel like. But because I was talking, I don't remember if there was a moment where I could have done it better, but you know. Here, for example, what you could be doing is like, okay, I run out of defensive fuel, I can mask up just to grab, like use the Nadir to set a Shadow Cloak and a PG, and then use the Overcoming with any magic you want to grab the PG, you grab the Blitz Order, you Persona Ride, you do 4 attacks or not, that doesn't really matter because what matters here is having more cards, and then next turn, Nadir will still be decent. You can use the Divine next turn, or maybe the other. Here the important is surviving, because it's Rezael. It's only Rezael is just about surviving. If you survive, yeah, I think that was the problem. Like, when the deck breaks, can be helped, but it gets trickier. We had the Shadow, but we did not have the resource management engine. That's how we lose here. Overcoming was not efficient. Maybe that turn, exactly, this is probably how we could have won, because the turn 3, we don't mill Overcoming, we are not trying to grind as fast, we have a lot of time, there is other moments where you can find that Overcoming. You set up your Malice, because what you want to be doing is farm resources, and there is a point on the game where you will eventually be strong. Like, I'm not telling you to stall a game for an insane amount of time, but here on the brick situation, the right card to mill was Malice. Then just get the things going smoothly, because you survive more. Like, if you overcome it but you die, you won't scale anyway. Yes, I think that was the problem here. It's subtle, but that's the issue. Okay, you look, I've learned. So we lost. Probably I just chose to go first again. Yes. One thing I feel is like, once you have the Overcoming hand, Kutir becomes so much worse, because you have like to, then you can tutor to hand, but you have to go minus, and right, your ideal hand would be Shadow Cloak, Order, and Kutir, then you can make the most profit of everything. You are still finding one card, which is the Overcoming in that case. You have another Order, which you should hope for it to be playable, and then Shadow Cloak gets you either the Blitz or another Order to follow up until turn 4. When you have multiple Kutirs, the most amount of Kutirs you draw, the worse they become, because they are like put turn 2 and then on later on to choose the play you want to do. But sometimes then they flood a bit early game. And if you have the Overcoming, then if the Overcoming happens to be the Order, you are doing 1 plus less, which is not a problem. You are still plusing, you stay tutoring, you prepare, that's completely fine. You just put the Blitz Order in rotation or whatever. But it feels a bit... just a trick, because I see sometimes people calling too much cards early game. Sometimes I try to do it as well, because I try to gouge the reach within more aggro playstyle games. But usually you want to have, like, if you choose to call the Philander, you can choose, make a choice here. If you choose to call the Philander because you are missing an Order or you are missing RPD, that's fine, then you can only count one more Kutir. Otherwise, you minus too much and it doesn't pay off, because they are going to hit defensives anyway, so the power of the boost, it doesn't really matter. You're also missing the chance of maybe calling over another card to put a drop zone card, so you can call the double cards with an Nadir. You're losing. purpose, and you're losing cards, and it doesn't pay off well. Like the turn 1 habitat very rarely pays off well as well. You should not do that. If you choose to do so, then it's because you have the double RPD already, and you don't even have to call the Philander. If you have to call the Philander, like if you have to call the Philander, I would already not use the habitat turn 1 because you overflow, and the order will go back to the deck. You are losing a tool for a greedy turn 1, maybe they get a defensive and they heal after, like you don't know what's going to happen. With Zorga playing consistent, it's way better. You can use the Coutier turn 1, I'm not saying you shouldn't, I'm just saying that you should count how many cards you got early. Like, you're using Habitat, so it's a third card. You're calling too much cards. So if you want to do the Coutier heal, okay, you discard the Philander. Bye bye. Chaito. Adios. But this game isn't so terrible either. I promise, like, that day wasn't my day, like, I felt like nothing worked. One thing with Rezael, like, I don't usually want to go too high on damage early, but Rezael, like, the poor soul didn't invest too much points into offense, so there is a lot of situations where being slightly more unhealthy, like having more damage is good, because like you can time the crits, like they will take hits, right? And if you time the hits properly, you can deny your heals, like, no, sorry, you access your heals and your opponent loses their heals, and yeah, so you might want to take one extra damage compared to other pairings, because denying them the advantage on the long run is good for you, and they cannot really outpush you. Okay. Do that within reason, of course, like you see what you have in hand, sometimes like it's not a defensive hand, so you might not want to do that. Also don't go to 4. You always shift in that you don't want to go to 4, and you want to be able to navigate, like going to 3 is ideal. Like if you go first, especially because you don't want to divine, you need to be careful though, because sometimes like you do a 13 swing, you don't crit them, and they get a defensive, that suddenly the 33k dragons are no more pressure, so you want to sometimes like just do the RPD, just do the RPDs first, like in general, trust me, because they want, if they take the RPD when they can just use 2 cards, like it's like doing 4 attacks. It's 2 damage. It's like 15 and flip and stun and 15. It's the same, it's 2 attacks. Zorga is not really a 3 attack deck. It never has been. Of course it is, like when we take into the consideration the PGs, there will be turns where PGs will hard guard you, but there is a lot of turns where the deck behaves in a way that it's not as if it was actually a 3 attack deck. That's what I'm telling. And sometimes it is even better, because what is going to do Shiranui? Like they have to ping, 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 ping. They cannot damage deny you. But you can like do a 78 attack, that it's a PG or lose. And PGs, people runs out of PGs. And if you were playing Flagbird, you should be ping. Maybe they get a defensive, so they save cards. Maybe the other attacks doesn't hit anyway, and they gain resources. Zorga can be played control. You can choose. here it's a misplay. It's a misplay. I think it's a misplay. It's the misplay. Here, you just talk a magic first, and RPD kills your great one. What a fuck up, just to gain 5k. Yes, so, yes, okay. Just to have 5k, I'm doing my board so awful. Like here you do RPD first. They have to guard. This table is so shaky. Two 15s, I love when they double 15. Also, that's very important. If you are already wasting 2 cards on an RPD, the extra card, like even if it's a 13k, like there is 2 kind of boards you can make depending on how your early game went. Like you can have the 8k behind Vanguard and the 8k, and then you cross column the Nadir summons when you have 1 RPD. Okay, that's valid. But some situations, there is a lot of situations where the Nadir is a 13 attack swing, they cannot afford to guard if they don't take the 2 damage. If they don't take the 2 damage, like here they guard the RPDs, okay, sure. Do they have a third trigger to guard the 13k? It's not actually. Like, if the turn was like that, it's not like a 13k banger swing, because the way the people farms the cards, they don't have time to have all of that defense. They don't have all of the cards, and even if they do have a way to guard, they don't have an efficient way of doing so. Like, it's so important to learn what is real to expect. And what are the punishments? What is people afraid of? Because you can control the way they guard based on that. Sometimes people is afraid to take into 2 swings, and you just want them to guard the attack. You don't want them to take the hit, you want them to guard because you want to then drive check with Zorga and heal trigger. You know? So even if you want to heal, you don't need really to go with Nadir first. You need to think about the risks your opponent has to make to predict what he's going to do. You can read the board, read the situation, read if you can, that's hard, but you can read their verbal language, like if they are, or if the poker face, you can read that to have an idea of how they are feeling, and you can predict. And also, play the games. You do not care about the result, you just care about learning why. Like, on the previous game, I lost because I tried something that was not good. And what's the problem? Okay, I misplayed. So what? Now I know. What's the problem? Is winning that important? Like, if winning is your only objective, are you actually going to win more by just focusing on, yeah, I won, yeah, I lost? You can play wrong and win the game. You can play wrong, think you have played well, win the game, repeat the same on the next 3 games, and you will lose. And you will think, I'm unlucky. Are you unlucky? Maybe the play was not good, and it's fine. it's okay. What's the problem? Like, I think to play this deck we need to have la lista de la compra, ¿vale? En castellano es la lista de la compra. Bueno, eso es con el acento en catalán. Pero això, yeah. So, like, the market list, the watch list, the chart, the card market chart, but with pieces you need to win, okay? When you have a Lana, when you don't have a Lana, when you have the Kutir, when you don't have the Kutir, when you have the tutors or not, and how many of them. Do you have Shadow Cloak or not? And you need to keep the pieces into place based on what pieces you have. This way, like, I think the previous game, it was not as hard to tell the right card to put into drop zone was the Malice. You know? And some games, maybe you misplay some games and you just top deck the Kutir and you fix it. But still, like, if we can have a more holistic view on how the deck works and try to fit the right places in the right pieces into place, I think it's a bit better. Do we lose that because we feel so healthy? What is going to go south here? Also, like, I remember the games to be more very worse, like super worse. Sometimes using the Blitz order is a mistake. Like, sometimes it is, because the card has that thing where it scales through the turns and there is turns where the amounts of power work better. So the soulless cost, it's not as cost efficient in every situation, okay? The moment you use the Blitz order, you might feel inclined to get it back again because the card is strong, and you will feel inclined of doing so because the card is also stronger as the game goes longer. However, if you use it fast, you are forced to overcoming again for it, which has more cost, which is CV, which is more cards bound, which is not doing any other play on the same situation, okay? And you are like, okay, sure, I'm drawing cards, I'm saving swings, but was that swing so important? Was that swing more important than having a more economic turn the next turn? Like, with that soul you can bounce a PG. Like, if you save the Blitz order in your hand, you can have the Blitz order and PG next turn instead of just a Blitz order, for example, or do a bounce or whatever. Also, if you use the Blitz after you have Mask, you have more soul, so it's actually free the next turn. Does this have a crit? Sorry, I was not watching. Because if you use the PG here, now we have a problem. Here we have a problem. We don't have soul. Oh, yeah, I have to wait. Here we have a problem. We don't have a soul. Now we want to use overcoming. We enter soul for overcoming, and we want to bounce something from drop, and we also want to use Nadir for power, not for green. Okay, we have a persona right. Okay. We need 2 more souls. Alana is in drop. I saw her. Oh, maybe I forgot to discard her. Yeah, I remember that. There is a lot of things you need to be having the place, because let's make a list. You need Alanas in drop, but they go to soul, so you need to move them. You need orders in drop, because the soul orders are good in drop, because you will get it back to hand with overcoming next turn. But you need orders on the deck, and you need the right orders on the deck, because you need to Kutir on the right turn, so you need the order you want to Kutir on the deck, and you need the order you want to grab to hand in the drop zone. And you need to do that. And maybe you call the Shadow Cloak turn 3, and it's turn 5. And you need to know that this particular game, Malice have to be in deck because you need it to deer. Sometimes the deck is funny. No, but for real, the deck got extremely complex. Like, the least we can do for ourselves, like, it's give the things that you we need to recognize the things for what they are. We don't need to feel wrong when we don't do the things well the first time we try them. Like, drawing is hard. Are we going to feel bad every time we do a draw and it doesn't work? No, you need to enjoy what you're doing and enjoy the process. Here we don't have soul, so we have to Malice, but then if we Malice we cannot bounce unless we use Nadir, but spoiler alert, when we use Nadir for the bounce, then we don't have power. The only turn where you can actually, like, committedly think that you can use Nadir for the bounce is if you have Zorga masks to just ride up, or if you think they are at amount of damage, they are likely to just be able to take the powerless swing. Okay, so like if they are at 3, they will guard their PDs because they have 2 PGs, they will guard that, then Zorga Nadir swings, but they do not hit a crit, and the last attack is free to take for them. You can predict that, and then you can use the Nadir power. Also, not use the Nadir power and use the Nadir for bounce that turn. Sometimes you can also like not call double dragons as well for similar reasons. Like if they are already going to get hit by the Zorga Nadir, maybe you want to call a shadow out of it instead of a booster because you call the Kutir there, for example. We have the masking hand. We have the masking hand. Fuck my life. I think we all know what the issue is here. There was a card that was not on the right place by the right timing. So is the list bad? Or did I just discard poorly 2 turns earlier? Maybe I put a card in hand with overcoming I shouldn't have. I'm very sad though. Here was like so good to do the mask. Oh, we are going to do. We had OT. Well, here like the mask would have been so good because we could have a lot of pressure. We also like we farm, and we could have had. Zorga Mask is a very greedy card, but when you do it well, it's so good. Like when you don't do this, it's very good. It's also my favorite card, so I'm kind of biased. Also no soul for the Blitz Order. Like I feel here we got some things mixed. You can also just grab the Blitz Order, by the way, knowing you won't use it that turn. That's something you can do. Because you will have the Blitz Order the next turn and you will be able to do the Alchemy Magics you wanted to actually be doing. Which is precisely what we didn't do in this game. think we will remember, no worries. I don't remember anything dramatic happening, like anything illegal at least. Zorga, it's unstoppable, I guess. We don't kill the cards. Okay, we will kill the cards. Oh, but are we dying? But now we have the mask in drop zone. We won't use the divine because we dirt, but we can persona right. So here, I'm sure there was a way to have one more soul, but at that point, we would have been able to divine and use the Blitz order. Strong. And very lethal. Now I need to watch that game again to remember because I'm getting distracted by the fact that I'm recording my own face. One thing to do better with the deck is knowing like what kind of route, like the heuristics. You need to learn the heuristics so you have less distractions to fall for. You need to know the baselines, like for example what I said before. You cannot just call 2 cards to bounce with Zorga and not give power to anything. Sometimes you can give power to only one thing, but that's because you assess the situation. But usually the heuristic is that you need to personalize turn 4 and you need to call the 2 boosters with power. That's basic. You cannot put yourself into, and if you start, no, but I have been treated and like I don't know, you're on a dramatic, it's okay, that's fine. Even if you think you have to do that because you are super behind, the reality is that you won't win by doing that. You won't. Suddenly they have the extra PG in hand and they will survive just one more turn and they will kill you. Also, like, take into account, oh, we lost? What the fuck? That was so unexpected. So yeah, let's do game 3. Okay, here we work like that, okay? So we had this amazing playmat and we just knew once the 2 games were recorded. So yeah, I will be using that playmat from now on. Apparently, I don't know, this was, I don't know, maybe it was from an event, maybe from a BSF or something, and we have it here because if something went wrong, forgot or something. So we'll have it there, we'll be using it. It's really cool. Yeah, okay, so game 1 was fine, to be honest, just a tiny thing, and the game 2 it was a bit more dramatic. This one, it's, I don't know, at least the playmat it's cool, you know, really appreciable. So here again, we choose to use Philander. This means we must not rush the Coutier for the habitat. Like, you never compromise tempo for Coutier in turn 1, and if you are going to Coutier turn 1, then you just discard the Philander. Maybe you have 2 dragons and the orders and you have everything, that's fine, go for it, but then don't overcommit board. Oof, not having a 15 here, it's very painful, and also 2 pitches out. I guess I know how we win. Oh, he has one, so this means like he either drew it or that's the like if he's done 15k, that 15 either comes from top or it's the only 15 in hand. And then he doesn't have like, well, I didn't see the cards now, but he doesn't have the 3 or he doesn't have the great one, the one missing. So that's a good read you can make. Like this might be a weak pawn for Tranquilla. Like I recognize like the card is very good and it's like it gets your pieces on going fast, but sometimes you have to do awkward things in order for it to activate and that's just I. I'm sorry. It's trying, I've been trying because I'm greedy. I'm a greedy boy, and I've been trying the hostage thing because it's fun, because it's like Zorgish with all of those infinity uses, and I feel like the mere fact of not going +1 turn 2 because the hostage it's for free, but it's not like a plus, you know, so it just gets there. Like you can, like the deck's way worse. Because it's way worse when it cannot plus. Like it's not even about default, which you might not even run and you will be fine because the card is like very bad the rest of the game. But when you don't use the order turn 2, like, or either because you don't run it or because you don't have it at that point, it's just one card, but it feels terrible. I don't know how to explain it. It's just one card that you may gain next turn with Novia, whatever. But if when you don't have it turn 2, it's just so painful. Maybe because Stencil is a turn 3 card and you are already a bit behind of plusing compared to Ricochet, for example. But I don't know, it's like very bad when you don't have that order in hand, like I swear, I promise. I don't know. The damage had like a proper place to go. Also, by the way, so technically I recorded, this is for the Fated Flash event, and so I recorded Zorga vs Rezael, I went to 0, but the games were like, they had illegal things, and I was like, fuck, I will record again, and then I played that, and then I lost. The total it's like 3-2 in favor for Zorga, so just let me know what you prefer to see in the video next time. Like if you want, we can make Zorga win, we have that kind of power in this channel, trust. That's a bit greedy. If you can, force the card before they see what they have. Like, let's say you make a bet with someone, and like, the bet is if you draw the card, you gain 1 coffee. You would never tell your friend, draw the card before making the bet, right? Seemingly, you want them to pay before, right? You want them to put the euro or put the coffee on the table and they make the choice. When you attack with Banger first here, you are telling your opponent, okay, you can see your card first, that 18k, it's not even guardable. I cannot 15k it. But by attacking like that, you are allowing me to choose how and if I want to guard the pitfall. You don't want me to have the information, you don't want me to have the defensive, you don't want to take the risk of me hitting a defensive and you not hitting the defensive. And even if I take the, even let's say, like I don't want to take the pitfall and the Ascensor here, but let's say I take the pitfall because I have 0 cards in hand, and let's say I take the defensive, you can still want to pass me. In reality, I will just guard the pitfall. 1 card, okay, maybe it has less shield, but what am I putting there? A piece? Am I discarding a Shadow Cloak? Is the opponent going to discard Furai? Maybe we'll just give you a 15k anyway. Just play safe and just take their cards first. Like, I think we should... Okay, so maybe the shield value total may vary, and sometimes we might actually want to cheese, or something we might do something different because we got a read on their cards in hand. Maybe we think, okay, they don't have 15k, we have to, like, okay, maybe we're going to, like, to go with Vanguard, and if we have the trigger and they don't, maybe they cannot guard or whatever. Sometimes we can deviate from that, but ideally we want to think about amount of cards rather than how much shield, because they won't be able to, like, if you the cards go down, they are not going to be able to play anyway, and they will give you the 15s. They will give you the 15s. It's the 1 card less in hand. In hand, though, like, the card once it's on board, like, it's the opposite. You don't want them to free trade the card they have already used. This card, like, if they have 2 intercepts, they have to lose both. You want both, you don't want just one. Then is when you might want to get a bit greedy, right? If they have the intercepts, because you don't, like, the punishment of them getting a front sometimes might not matter versus the chance of forcing them to waste more cards. Here I'm lying a bit because sometimes I play around the front by swinging with the rear guard into the rear guard first because you will get the defensive, right? I just said the opposite. But, like, the thing is, okay, you should always play safe, play around the defensives, all the defensives, and try to cheese the card first before they take the swing, because you want to take the card from hand. When they are already surely giving you the card from rear guard, first you need to ask yourself how important that card is, because if it's a Furai, fine, that's yeah, we can take the Furai, but if it's like some, like, the forward, like, it's already being used, it's just a 10k, you don't want that card to equal another +1. You want to play around that by forcing them to call it over, okay? But yes, so that's basically the point. And then sometimes you might, if the cards on board are decent, you are like, okay, just swing with my rear guard first because I don't want them to save a card on a situation where they just get a front. Because if I get a trigger and they get a trigger, they will intercept anyway. So yeah, cards in hand are so valuable, so you want to take that before they take the damages, especially early game. Later on it will be different, but the cards are also more powerful. Then you want to prevent them from capitalizing on the cards they have already used, okay? Because if they intercept with something they have already used, it's like if you are not even swinging. So there is a reason there to be, like, a bit more greedy on how you cheese the defensive or play around the defensive or get your own triggers. And last, it's like, I forgot. Okay, I have explained that 2 times. I just forget because they want to make it so long, I forget about the ending. But I think you have already understood. It's perfectly fine. Here he could, like, just reuse the dog. Like, I can see that call if it's like an aerial sage or something for the next turn. That's fine because you are generating the card in a different way. But it's Tranquilia, it's just an 8k, it feels like a bit weak. So probably you just do the dog here. Even if you don't pop it, you don't have to pop it. Like, you can call it again and keep it there for the boosting next turn, you just draw the card later. Ah yes, I forgot, the last part was, if the card on board is good, then you will play around the defensive, because you squeeze the card. And you don't care about the potential trigger you get, and they don't. Because if they do get it as well, or if they get a front and you get nothing, then you lose the card. So yeah, you cheese more. When the card is already on board, you cheese more if the card is bad. If the card is good, you just play safe and play around the defensive. That was the third part. Yes! So let's go back to the Zorga mistakes here. That's a potential misplay. Like, is that Blitz Order capitalizing? Like, if you're missing pieces in hand, sure, go draw, that's fine. It will unrig you, you will be able to play. But sometimes, like, I feel like not using the Blitz Order turn 2 is great because you can bounce one extra card or just access that soul when it matters a bit more. By the way, you don't have to buy cards. Like, I just got a message on Discord. You don't have to buy too many cards. Like, you have to buy cards from First Call because they are good and they will get Skyrocket soon. Because unlike Farhat and that kind of cyclers, the Dual Nations can suddenly scale because they are very good on stride decks. So you should buy the Dual Nations you think you will be using. I don't think you should buy everything. And the great ones, the energy ones, are very strong. They are way better than the great twos. Because of how they good are on stride deck sets. The Brand Gate one is actually insane. Like, who thought putting the energy charge effect was a good idea? Like, the Stoikeia one, it's mill 1. and the Brand Gate and Keter, it's put one card to bottom. That Brand Gate, energy charge 1. Okay, let's go back to the orders. Yeah, sometimes we have to. Here we have the Alana. Okay, so here we do the cross calling. So this is why we intercepted. I feel because we get the Alana that will boost either Zorga or the other column with the 2k. Here it's very likely. Here, for example, we can. Yeah, but we cannot divine skill anyway. But we can give the power to Zorga. That feels okay. And we don't want to deny our heals, and we don't want to put Rezael to 5. That seems like a good thing. We just cannot divine. But it's fine. We don't want to divine. Oh, we are divining. What? That's curious. This means we have Zorga masks in hand and we plan on using it. Do you have the kill? Because I feel like I'm deviating too much from the gameplay. I'm going into deep theory, which is fine, which is very interesting, but this can only mean we are planning to do the full mask turn next turn. That's a good thing, right? The masks card lets you commit the divine earlier and they run out of resources because they cannot farm enough. They cannot farm fast enough. Okay, you have the cow. Do we have the kill? Do we have everything? Is that kind of game? Are we going to actually use the masks properly? This is what I mean about the Blitz Order turn 2. You can just not use the Blitz Order, then you can maybe use Forbidden with Habitat and find for a PG or farm for a piece, and then you have one soul for the next turn, and the Blitz Order is already more strong because you have more orders in your way. So basically, at this point, I'm not sure if the Blitz Order was something good. It maybe was. Maybe we wanted pieces or something. It's fine. I'm not saying it's necessarily a mistake, but sometimes I think sometimes we use it too fast. That's what I want to get to the point. That's the point I want to make. But we put them at 5. That's not good. That being said, with a crit, the turn would have been very strong. And if we are going to do the mask anyway, like if the masks is already in hand, like they need like 3 PGs to tank the next turn. Like 3 PGs, because Zorga Max is like 51 and the other 2 RPGs are like 73s. The only problem is the kill, they can just take it. That's what maybe I do not like. Because they will have the Nilberries, so they know. I'm wondering, is the battle going to last? Oh my god. I mean, we should survive. If we don't survive, I will be very sad. Please. I really like Novia. Like Biscotti feels like it's just CB1 to filter, and it's like CB0 to filter the card. I don't know, Novia, just look at top 3, it can create boards, it can give you PGs, it puts Nilberries in drop zone after using it. Swings for 20. Novia is so good, people doesn't like her. What's happening? Yes. Take that PG. Take that miracle, Rezael. Take that miracle. Oof. No, this is definitely not a miracle drive check. Here I'm like, can I soul last? Or is this another misplay? Spooky. Oh, that top deck is so nice. Ah, I see the mask. We have the mask in hand. Now we just need to put the mask in drop zone. It would be funny if we didn't have a way to put it until we draw the Shadow Cloak, right? It would be really funny. Well, we won't ever know what this card is. It's probably the mask. It's a mask, yeah. We didn't even top deck the Shadow Cloak. They are so dead. Zorga Mask's true potential. Winning already won games. I'm telling you. We can hear Bushy Road, like rulebook being crushed by the brokenness. Yeah, here you just go with oh, just one RPD. It's curious. Yeah, so just do RPD. Zorga, we pray them not to heal. Just kill them. Just fucking kill them. Ooh, it's not exist 40, 58, 78. So amazing. I'm happy the battery is lasting enough. Oof, all of that? Ah, he prefers to just go ahead and take it because it's too much cards, yes. Well, GG, let's go. No heal. Okay, GG, let's go to game 4. And here we are. It's just a few days later, as you can see. Okay, so the problem with these games, it's not that they are not like interesting or they are not good. We just happen to run into too many illegal game states. So the video was definitely not good. But yeah, I have it anyway, so let's just show the gameplay anyway, and we just, I don't know, chill. We just enjoy the drama when it comes. Okay, we are going second. Technically with this list we should be fine either way. Like, I think, as I said, Rezael should not be a problem for us as long as we keep it in check, and then especially if they do not have the teeth fall, like they rely a lot of on their early game, and if they don't have it, no good. Here it's another player, and it's also a different list. Some players do like the biscotti, but I personally feel like it clashes a bit into Nilberries, right? Because you end up like, you have to overuse Sage in order to have the CV to bake her by using CV instead of energy, so you can keep using Nilberries, which is stronger. I felt the gameplay was stronger, one with no teeth fall, more Novia. No, I think Novia is good. It's a very good quality +1, a very good searcher, and a very better way of using the cards. And you really want to have access to the Peters instead of like a filter in hand, right? I don't know. It's something personal to me. I felt more threatened when they were on no biscottis and more Novias, let's just say that. And also I don't see a reason for biscotti to be better than anything else, right? Because Rocket's already the faster deck here, maybe. Well, now the stray decks are quite fast, but I don't know. Yeah, also another reason to not display this video, it's because we forgot about Smasher. Smasher, great game 1, so basically his list is very bad. There is no late game here. So I could pretend there is a Smasher and we just didn't see it, but that's not true. And it's very obvious, let's be honest. Yeah, I don't like when you have both the Coutier and the Overcoming, because Coutier feels way worse once you have already accessed your crest. So I've been feeling lately that maybe we don't need 4 of her, because, I don't know, most decks just run 4 copies of their cards and they are not like, oh my god, I break and I need a 5th copy of something, right? So maybe we can do some cutting on Coutiers, because it happens to be a bit redundant sometimes, and if you're playing pure Nadir, sure, you can go for the 4 playset. But the reason I'm playing this mixed version is because I feel like pure Nadir doesn't have access to enough relevant tools. So Yeah, you're just being able to tutor basically nothing. Like once you have set your overcoming, then there is not as much things to find for. Like usually you have the tools, so basically maybe it's not needed to run like 12 orders, right? Maybe 11 orders between like the orders and the tutors, right? Because it's for shadow, for kutir, for 8 orders. You are basically running 9 of everything. Maybe you can run just 8 of everything and you can still find the cards in time. That's what I'm saying, that maybe there is room for improvement there, because it's definitely not like super smooth when you have, but like when you have just enough, then it pays off because you have access to the card, and that's why you run consistency, of course. But something feels off, especially like when you cannot like reach certain minimums of smoothness. You know, you don't want to play. Well, maybe you want to play, and if you want, that's fine. But personally, I don't like playing 30 turns. I don't want 30-minute games. If my deck can be win in 20, 15, that's what I want to do. Me personally, like I like mid-range tempo-ish strategies. I'm not a full control player myself, let's say. Like that, just the two off. Like you find it, it's smooth. Yeah. We're at 2 damage. Like here, if we could have been at 3, it would have been ideal. Like if you can be at 3 before the persona turn, then you are very healthy. Because like we could not guard the turn before because they did like the 4 units turn, so it was too much power and it was a bit risky. Like you want to take a bit more of damage because of the heal argument we have made earlier, but you don't want to be at 4. Here 3 was a perfect number, but again we cannot guard every time, so oh fuck, I'm so sleepy. Also, I've been thinking that maybe like you probably prefer to see more Zorga, so maybe we have already seen Rezael. We can consider that the 2 extra wins, if we happen to win these 2 games, are enough. And like maybe like I have the 3 pairings left. I have Blankmire, Welstra, and Zorga. Like for I hope Welstra loses versus Blankmire, and then we can do Blankmire Zorga for the end. Yes, because that pairing, I think it's interesting, and I think people wants to see it because like Blankmire can be this kind of sucky. Like I feel like it's like playing versus Varga. There is 2 kind of games. They will always place the Buster behind the Banger because they want you to take the hits, but if there's a game where they have the early crits where you are just struggling a lot for the rest of their life, or not. And then when they divine skill, like can either hit the crit or not. Like if they do not heal crit on those situations, like I think the game is usually won. But he can do it, right? And that's a problem. And you cannot like it's harder than Varga because you rely a lot on the PGs for defense here. I think like Zorga wants to do that. Like of course you can just start bouncing fronts instead or the heal hedgehogs. That's fine. But like they can always OT you, they can double trigger you. Like the card kind of forces you to waste a lot of things there to feel safe, you know, and sometimes you cannot afford it. So I think it has some kind of sucky components attached. Is this another illegal game state? I was not paying attention. Yeah, here I think I forgot to step. Like I should have called the card. Like you have to call the cards. I think maybe I was mixing the misplays because really this week was not my finest. Okay, so there is no dragon, so I take it that there was no way to cover them, but basically you want to kill your cards. That's it. We are at 4. I think we might lose, lol. Ah no, we heal. Okay, fine. I should shut up. This is like where the Premier Leagues, every time I say something, the opposite happens. Our opponent should not heal there. And they go OT. And I'm like, yay. If I have a superpower, it's definitely not a future prediction. No. No RPD games sucks. Like, technically you can run more karmas, but then you are like, I don't know, I feel like you're running like bad cards anyway, right? I think the Forbidol creates a space in the deck. That's also good. And you don't need ladder to beat Nui if you play masks. They die. Like you have get to game, like you have burst. They cannot draw before you start smashing them. Like I never felt threatened by Nui, not even with the fort, if you have the masks, because you can win playstyle wise. You don't need the ladder at all. And Forbidol seems nice because you can thin too, you can find the pieces. If you run mask, then you can also play that, of course, but it's not like needed. You can still find the dragons or the persona rights for the future. And like tempo wise, Forbidol it's way better, I think, because there is not much like for Zorga, like setting up turn 3 it's very good. There is no, like you can do, let's say Forbidol plus Habitat. I don't know. Maybe you have 2 shadows. Maybe you can bounce Zorga and get a PG anyway. Like what I want to say, it's like it's a very good turn for setup. Turn 3, you have a recent amount of power. You don't need to grab things from your drop zone yet because you haven't used them, etc, etc, etc. I feel harmed when I like have to waste one of my order uses for one turn. Because let's say I want to overcoming. What am I going to do? Overcoming plus persona, right? Instead of calling something and bounce it when I do have already my pieces in drop zone. Like I think tempo wise Forbidol is way better if you need to use it turn 3. And if you don't need it, you just forget about it. I don't know what's happening in this video, but I'm not talking about the game itself a lot, but I think the Zorga theory is very good anyway. And I think sometimes it's more interesting, you know, because like we could discuss like guard patterns as well. We could discuss more foundational aspects of how to play the game, but I think the theory is valuable as well. Here one thing you can do, but it's a bit like obnoxious, like if they were to attempt a 5 attack turns, here you might want to be at 5 because this way they do not heal more, but they are just so unlikely to go for it. So maybe just stay at 3, prevent an OT in lethal. That's a misplay, by the way. You have to use the doggo first always. And well, maybe you're fine. Maybe you're trying to find something and you want to try to stack it. Like for example, let's say this is a PG. Technically, you dig one more card for it, potential 2. So maybe if you are trying to find something specifically, you can like forfeit the potential stack on top of the card you scry in exchange for one more scry towards seeing the card you want. Technically, you can also use Nirvelis before Dogo, but I don't think that's what he was trying to accomplish. Like, I think it was like a misstep, or so it feels. I think for Rezael to win this matchup, they have to go first and they have to open with Order Clickfall, or else they are very like not likely to win. Like I don't feel the deck pressures enough, and Zorga can farm so much. By the way, if you can try to stay at 3 before their Divine skill, that's so good, because the problem with the Divine is that it makes it so likely for them to hit a crit, a double crit. So if you're at 4, you will have to guard Rezael and the 2 rear cards, but if you're at 3, you have to guard 2 cards, just 2 cards, because you will guard the Rezael, and then if they double crit, they will give the 3 damage column, the power and everything. So you just need to guard 2 of the attack, and then you can take Novia and Elveris or whatever with 1 damage, and you're safe, and you save cards, because the speed at which you use the cards also matters, because you need to know at what speed you can generate your cards. You cannot like use 4 pitches one turn, because you will only have 2 back, let's say, and maybe they have 3 attacks and you cannot guard. You want to play it like more economically. This player, like, you want to spend, it's very unlikely for you to spend like, I don't know, 3,000 euro or dollars in 1 month, right? Maybe you just go, okay, we'll do 1,000 in 3 months, and then you feel safe. You don't feel like, oh my god, I won't have the money at the end of the month. It's basically that kind of thing. You cannot, like, even if you have access to it, it doesn't mean you should be using everything all at once. So you definitely want to play in a more card conservative way. It's similar with Shadow Cloaks. You don't want to overcall them. Like if you start the game calling triple Shadow, you know that it's turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, where you automatically lose the chance of calling a Shadow and have access to the Shadow without having to recurse it through the Nadir skill, right? It's similar for the Cow, because you might want to have access to the recursion skill without calling it. Like maybe you can go to Philanders, call Shadow from hand, or call Hudir from hand to get the order, and then you can control bets where you are going to give the powers and what is Nadir calling. Because this way you might have access to a bounce without, or like for example, if your opponent is at 5, you know, it's like the previous turn with just 1 dragon. I don't care too much about the Shadow Click. Okay, maybe if they heal, maybe but versus Rezael you want the double RPD, and it's a wrong example, okay, but versus Blackmire, sometimes you might want to just, like, this is especially true for when they are at 4, because they have to take the Nogat, the Zorga anyway. But what I want to say is like that, so you should like be conservative with every single piece you have, because making sure you can play the right piece on the right turn makes it easier for you to access the right order on the proper thing, on the proper moment. And this is also why Chalice is extra bad, because I think, okay, it's personalized on demand, but you are also losing 1 action for the turn, which is not good. You are like 1 order behind, like you should have done something extra, and you didn't. Maybe a call, maybe a draw 2. Like, it's not the same for Caliburn. Caliburn is actually fine, because it can be like the Malice or the draw 2. Like, it's a versatile Black Magic versus Malice order, but then you just play Forbidden instead, in my opinion. If you're on Pure, though, you might want the Caliburn or the Ladder. Ladder is also fine. Like, if you are on Pure, maybe you want the Ladder because of the Nui matchup, but then the Caliburn is also fine. It's like having a second copy while still remaining as a Highlander of any of the other 2 orders. And that's fine. That's something good to have access. And it's also versatile. You can have the card and the, okay, I want to draw 2 fast here, and you go for that. It gives you quality of life. Definitely. Here I feel like I'm not sure about how much is that Alana, but maybe you just want to force the defense there and make the Philander hit the extra 2 boosting, so you get a stronger number. Here I think is this the turn where we fuck up? Because I feel there is one turn where we use miasma, we forget, we have to redo everything. I think this is the turn. Yes. And now I will realize that miasma is wrong. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Misplay! Woo! Okay, so basically we will redo the whole play because the first guard was illegal. Initially it was like, okay, this is like somehow fixable, I could have like cut that. Okay, and now we have the 5k more power, so we want the Lana first, okay. And then I think I'm missing one soul also because I didn't soul charge. I'm not sure. I think I recovered the soul at the end. Oof. Well, definitely one. Jesus. Yeah, I think there were many legal things happening here. So this is why I said, let's go record again. Oof. And you do that, and now you can mask us. 4 attacks again, and you call the overly 9,000 million trillion boosters. And again, knowing how to keep the shadows, how to keep the cows will help you having more accurate Nadir revive targets. Because you don't have to spend the revive on the key cards. Because here the thing is that with Cow and Shadow and Zorga Mask, you will revive Nadir, and you can call both, and basically you can bounce the masks for free, and then rewrite it, and you will draw back that Zorga Nadir you spent initially. So basically you have one free bounce because the Shadow Cloak it's not the one you should have kept, and you can call the Shadow you have prepared in your hand to call, like bounce back a PG or something. But, or for example, you can just call the Shadow Cloak function and get the Zorga Masks from drop once it's recycling with the Cow or Freeze, and you get a booster. Here, Freeze, it's very good, like, because you gain a bounce or revive card, so you can revive the cards with actually spending the Nadir power on something you're going to bounce. But either way, what I think is like Zorga Nadir with masks, like they pair perfectly well together. They are designed to be abused. Just easy as that. Because Karma, it's not really the Energy Blast tool this deck requires. But Energy Blast 2, Revive 2, and give them 25k power? That's an Energy Blast tool I like. So I think Zorga Nadir is just like adding that to masks. Like if you go first, like Nadir 38k turn 3, then Persona turn 4, that's amazing. But then if you have a strong follow-up to that, like the deck becomes even better. And when you can add the Blitz Order on top to that, and you can pay for free because you have more soul than ever, it's too good. But again, if you prefer masks, that's also like sorry, the pure version, that's also fine. It's fun. I have played it. It works. It doesn't give you headaches. I'm pushing Rezael a lot this game. I think they have the OT on the deck, and losing to double crits or OTs, it's not like super good. To be honest, we started a bit bad, but then the heal and the OT definitely clapped it back in our favor. Now we have enough CV for like the masks. I don't know where the mask is though. It's not on damage. I don't have this sad look on my face. So maybe we are lucky and the card is still on the deck or it's in the drop zone. Okay. Do we have the kill? Well, we definitely don't want to go Malice here. Maybe for the next turn. I mean, otherwise you don't call over the RPD, you know. And if I'm going to use Malice, then I'm fucking up. I'm just binding it. Okay. The cow for the marker. And maybe Philander for power. This is kind of broken. Turn 4. You come from the divine, and now you still do 4 attacks. Kinda nutty. Ah, we're trying to find the one of kill. You usually find it because, like, by the time of the game, you have so many cards left, like so little amount of cards left that it's very easy, and you can always bounce Philander to access like a 5 more cards. So you do Habitat, it's 7. If you do Philander, it's 12, and maybe you have just 13. It's easy, like, to see the card, you know. It's hard to not like top 7 and no kill and top 5 again, no kill. I mean, well, okay, maybe, but maybe I don't like grabbing that, but maybe there is no other order. This is 35, 43, 68. On a turn, we should not have been able to do 4 attacks, by the way. And this is also stronger than the regular Nadir. Like, even if you don't have the kill, you're still hitting harder because you have more soul, so you can survive another turn maybe with the sustain, and because you have the 10k power. Having the Malice for the next turn, it's nice because we need another CV for kill again, for using kill again. Yes. He doesn't have too many cards in hand. Maybe just do 40 here. I think just 40, it's sensitive. Because this way, kill, it's not a free card. And potentially they should be using the PG anyway. Yeah, I think it's a misplay. Especially because it's Rezael, they can 6 damage heal. This should have been just 40 for the RPD. Yes. It's not like they can survive anyway, like they have 2 cards left, not much. But here they would have been like 1 card less in hand. Or maybe even not being able to guard at all. That was a mistake. Because they have to PG anyway, that's the thing. And even if they do not, they still need to survive the Zorga. And let's say you don't hit a trigger. It's better to have done the 40k and then a massive one than do massive one and then just 30k on a deck that will heal, which is basically then if it's like just a 20. Maybe you are watching the video in bed, like I always do, and hearing me helps you sleeping. This is my objective. Being the relaxation content, people needs to be happy. Very long game though, and I have done a lot of pressure. Yeah, here we don't have the masher because we are silly. We just put it into the deck for game 2, don't worry. It's very unlikely we lose so much card in hand. And again, there is so many situations to just put the 10k heals that I don't even care about them not being 15. Sometimes I do care when I just have like 2 or 3 of them early game and cannot get the Vanguard. Okay, that sucks. But I don't know, it feels really unlikely, and when they work, they are super good. And personally, like, if I have to do a change around the heals, it will be just put 4 of the 15 ones. I don't like running 2 and just you play versus Blackmire and do not draw them, and you play versus whatever and you do and it doesn't work, so you are basically struggling with the 10ks anyway, and then you don't have the benefit on the right moment. This aerial stage is putting up a lot of work. Yeah, and it is because of the viscosity. Like, it's just filtering in the end. I feel Novia is so good. I love Novia. And I don't like people who doesn't like Novia. It's super good, I love her. Like, Default is just good one turn of the game, then it's just a vanilla. I hate her. Like, you can choose the expensive, dramatical waifu or the good, cost efficient, 3 card filter in any moment of the game waifu. Personally, I choose Kaduala, but you know. Yeah, and also Zorga Mask, it's another +1 every time you do that. Well, GG. First, RPD's first. RPD's first. It's Rezael, you dumbas. Well, he heals, but he decks out as well, so GG, let's go, game 5. Oh my god, it's the first time I ever see this, I say this. Game 5, longest video ever. We are going second again. Okay, one less issue. And now I cannot use the order, so GG. relies too much on using that order that turn for real. Otherwise, it's so slow, like so slow. Those right chains that work one turn later, like, why do you give them to decks that really need to? Because okay, I get that you don't want to give them as much speed, but they do be struggling. They do be struggling because you rely too much on that turn 2 being good. And I know technically if you are going first, it's the same for you because you cannot attack earlier, so basically riding on the great one to activate it works fine, but when you're going second, you're just too behind, and like, I don't know. Because it's 23, yeah. Well, a moment where the heal triggers do not help. Fine. No, but I have a defensive. I can put the 10k. I'm just waiting for them to finish, okay? Well, then it's another moment where the trigger doesn't matter. There you go. Dogo. Personally, I think this card is fine in this deck. Like, I don't see Rezael being a problem at all. Okay, fine. Lure is in a stride deck. You don't want them to have the Dogo. I get that. But Rezael? I mean, then give them something else. Because Painkiller is not the way. There is also that, like, maybe, okay, that the soul. Like, okay, Dogo it's really free, and there is other cards that cost soul to do the same. Okay, that's a good point, but I don't think the Scry 2 is that broken, and I think some decks really need that. Like, the deck it's super balanced around speed at gathering the PGs. If you don't give the decks the speed to do that, then you need to keep down the attack power. And there is decks that are so strong, and they are fine because people can access PGs. Also, like, I think sometimes we ask different and contradictory things. We want the deck to have more defense, but when we print a fair 1-for-1 filter card that can make you struggle next turn because you lose the boosters and you lose the power, then we don't want that. But that's what we need to farm the defense, or else we get killed. And okay, Luar it's very abusive with it because it can be tutored, and it's basically like you have 2 boosters for the turn and you will keep having the boosters. In Luar, the dog it's very toxic. That's completely fine. And it's fine it got banned on Luar. But in Rezael, like, literally the deck only hope it's Dogo, and even with the Dogo it doesn't win. It wins, but and besides, Nilveris is so good at farming the soul that does it even matter at this point? Like, Nilveris it's so charge 1 for free. Do we care about Dogo not being Soul Blast at this point when there is like 4 more souls that what the deck can use? Like, okay, if you give it a Soul Blast cost, then the deck will still be able to play it. It just won't end with 4 souls at the end of the game. This Catwalla being at 20k because Dogo sacrificed previous turn. Oh, this is just a 10k. Because no persona. Welp. The problem here is his OT was very bad and my OT was very good. Like Rezael, I feel like it falls like it's like some kind of aggressive tempo deck that farms a lot and technically cannot be killed, but the moment the opponent has like the tiniest bit of luck defensively, you then suddenly cannot end the game. Like it has the bad parts of an aggro deck. The reason you would not play a deck that's aggro, which is like you commit into aggro and then you are squishy, and if you don't kill Sakili, they kill you back. This is like, okay, it's a bit less of aggro with a lot more of defense, so you can defend, you are not as cannon glass, but then at the same time, if they heal, you cannot put enough pressure anymore and you don't kill them anyway, and you just make the game long. I think Rezael struggles a bit from that. Like, it has the same issue as an aggro deck, even if it draws more. I think. So here we can... Do we have the kill severing? I don't think we have. Here we can... One good thing about going second with the mask in the deck is you can turn 3 aggressively employ the divine skill for faster. The problem here is that we did not access the overcoming. Apparently, I didn't realize what we didn't turn to be honest. Oopsie. But since we don't have the extra power, then we should be using Miasma to make up for it, or maybe just keeping the divine for one turn later and just go for the persona, right? If you can hit 38, you can go use it, to be honest. You can do RPD 33, it's usually 33 RPD first, then you do the big RPD, and you will see the defensive because they have to guard something at that point. Then you can decide if you want to use the divine turn 3, because if just in case if you have the masks follow up, if you don't, you just keep it, it's fine. But the problem here is we don't even have the boosters. So that's bad. Do we have a soul? Because we might not even have it. Now we have killed severing, which basically means we will be able to like persona right turn 4, then 4 attacks again forever. This just came too late. Did he draw? Did he actually forgot to draw? Yeah, well, that's okay. The cards are good anyway. Let's assume when the right comes. You draw first. If I'm not mistaken, there is some kind of completely irreparable event soon. Oof. Heal. Well, here goes the cow. And the game is technically super illegal, but it's not coming yet, or I'm not seeing it. At least this time they do have the smasher, because the previous game was very painful to watch. I apologize in advance to you. Also, by the way, I do still have the Shiranui video cooking. I'm missing some games. So, it's on the process, it's on the making. It's on the making. The games are very good, though. The two games I have, they are very good. I just need a third one. What is taking me so much time? Oh, is this my hand? What the fuck? It's massive. I think it's... I'm not sure what this is. Going to 5 when you're so healthy, like, makes them more dead, basically. And it looks like we are really capable of surviving, so no more heals for them. And also we can like choke them at 4, depending on what they do, because they might try to get hit by Zorga. It depends. Like, ideally, like here going to 5 it's fine, because not only because you will damage the Naem on their turn, but also because you're opening your own heal earlier. Otherwise, like, you would go to 5, they would go to 5 first, but taking 1 RPD, and then you would not be able to heal until your next turn, which is like 2 damage and 4 attacks. So it's technically 5 in case you take the 6 damage. And I think there is like 1 or 2 heals left still. But this game should take at least 2 more turns, because they do not have, they are 3, so they can just take now this one. They have a lot of hand size. We do also have a lot of hand size. Is that necessary? Maybe it is for the, because we have the mask in our hand. Maybe we do need to call the courier for the mask in drop zone. Is that what's happening? Wait. What? I'm confused. Ah, because I have the... no, I used the divine, right? Or didn't I? What the fuck? I think I didn't use the divine. Okay, I didn't use the divine. Okay. Ah, my bad. Well, that's unfortunate. Sure. Okay. That makes sense. We have 1 soul left for the abolishment. Really good. We do, right? Yeah, we do. Another PG. Yeah, I keep playing my energies at the end of the turn, but it's fine. But I remember a very illegal game state, and we are not reaching the very illegal game state, so what's happening? Did I have like the most Inception week of my year there or something? And I remember things to be awful and they were just like average. Like there is no way we lose. Fuck. Those oversleeves are already destroyed, by the way. Those are like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks old, just, and I have destroyed them already and I have to replace them soon. Like they are broken and very dirty. And they are also expensive. Like those are dragon shields that they are fine, like for casual. They are not legal on BCS, of course. You don't use that. But like I think like the broccolis are very good. The granulose ones, not the clear ones. Like I don't know. There is one with rugosity. I like them because I have sweaty hands. And the other ones are a bit bad for me because they get stick together and I don't like that. And those are a bit expensive and they are hard to access here. So this is why I go for the dragon shields we have at our store. But it's true that they are like too big and they are not worth. Not anymore, I don't know. They used to be better in the past. Look at her, Novia doing the work. She's so good. And we are unkillable. Where is the legal game state? What the fuck? Yeah, Rezael has this problem. On one hand, they want to be at 5, so Nilberries can stack the trigger, but when they're at 5, RPDs are lethal, so they cannot just abuse the Divine skill and the synergy with Nilberries. And if they are at 4, they cannot call the Smasher, so they are actually weaker. So they struggle a lot. You can chuck them at 4, and then you can put them at 5 when you can already survive them, and then they cannot heal out of the miracle. The mask, discard the mask! Discard the mask! Put the mask into the graveyard, bro. Wolf, the mask. Well, maybe we don't, but we have Coutier, so we can play whatever other order we want. So just put the mask in drop zone. Well, maybe not. Maybe we need, well, or just use the mask. That's also fine. We need to use the mask, we need to call the fucking cow, and we need to use something that doesn't cost a CV, and with the 4 attacks, and they die. Ah, because we have 2 Coutiers as well. Okay. So ideally, yeah, like Shadow, it's good. We can find farm defense, but you want to call... we want to do Malice, maybe? Okay, that's fine, that's fair. And then we kill the Coutier and the RPD and call 2 RPDs or RPD cow. But then I'm confused because what are we going to bounce? We cannot bounce anything because we want to use the we don't want to use the overcoming. Okay, so maybe we can like call freeze. We can mill freeze from our deck here with the shadow cloak, and we can malice with RPD and coutier. They go away, and we bounce PG something to our hand, then persona right, and we have the marker and we have the kill, and we have an extra CV for the next turn. And we went first. That's also correct. I don't like the... Okay, I see where I'm going here, but I don't like the shadow cloak here because it's Rezael. It's Rezael. There's no... What's happening? Wolf, what's doing? What are you doing? Wolf, stop this! Maybe the illegal games that was me just fucking up so hard that... We have everything. Ah, but we can actually... We can write the masks first. Okay, APG, that's also correct, that's also fine. Where are we going? What's happening? What are we doing that? Yeah. Okay, let me give you a piece of advice. If it's too complex, then it doesn't work. Yeah, but there was no need for that. Now we lose the power of the boosters. Maybe there is like some silly thing in my mind, like maybe I'm thinking that I can like be a bit more greedy with this and farm more defense just in case they survive, but they won't survive and we are making just it too complex. Okay, now call the second. Okay, fair. And 2 RPDs, or at least one. Let's use the... Well, no, let's not use the power. Let's not use the power. Let's just get the crits. That's good. Yeah. Persona right. And now we just call one fucking booster and we are this weak? Why? The cow, of course, for the marker. But like this cow could be like plus 25. This should be plus 25. If we just had played normal. Okay, this play, don't do it at home. It was terrible. They will not heal. If they survive, it's just because we completely destroyed our own boosters. Well, okay, we won't get killed, that's for sure. But you can just finish the game here. If it's too complicated, like complexity versus complication. If it's complex, it's fine, it can work. But if it's complicated, there is something there we should be working on. And this play is just too conservative. There is no reason to lose all that boost power for defense, just in case they might survive. Okay, they have survived. Maybe I should just shut up. Okay, I will apologize to the Wolfren from the past if we now survive just because of the extra PG. If we survive because of the extra PG, I will apologize to myself on another video. It's a joke. I won't make another video just for that. But maybe I won't trash talk the past Wolfren as much on the videos. On my defense, I will say that it's complex to pay attention to the game and commentate. Like those people that do it that well, like Different Fight do this so well, and Orange they do that so well, and it's so hard. Maybe it's harder for me because I'm not native English, so I don't speak English on my daily life. But yeah, like I think I haven't said a decent thing in the whole video. Like thank you for lasting this far. You're supporting the video, by the way, so that's very nice. And thank you for staying here with me saying nonsense in singular. But to be honest, I don't know if I can trust the wolf from the past, because maybe they just survived because we didn't put the boosters. So we can take the wolf from the past actions with a grain of salt here. Just with a grain of salt, because we don't know exactly what happened. Or maybe we lose and I don't remember. Do we lose? Maybe the Wolfren from the past was right. Fuck my life. I will be so sad. Well, I won't be sad. Why would I be sad about me doing a fine play 3 weeks ago? I should celebrate it. Yeah. You do it, Wolfren from the past. Win by using the PG you first farmed. This has happened before, like, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then I understood the play and just 9 minutes later. Okay, the Wolfren from the past was right, fuck it. Fuck it, let's go, Wolfren from the past. Wolfren from the past was right. I'm astonished. I'm astonished. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Wolfren from the past. You are so good, Wolfren from the past. Oh god. I'm ashamed. But it's cool, we win. Oh, this is the deck. Okay, I killed those two. Okay, fine. Okay. And I also played taking into account the orders I had left and me being able to use both to not deck out. I'm proud. The play was very good because it was very hard to see because we had to account for the defense needed. We actually needed the 2 PG bounce and then we needed to have an order next turn to do the to stay at 3 cards left and not lose. GG. Okay. GG. Well, maybe we don't win. Maybe we don't win. It's not done yet. You don't have a PG left. Don't lie to me. Yay. Well. Hope you enjoyed seeing my face making definitely not completely right statements about what was going on, and well, hope you enjoyed. I did enjoy, to be honest. Oh, I'm sad, by the way, because the last minute of the game was so old, but the video will be 2 hours long and nobody will see it. Well, anyway, hope you enjoyed. Enjoy Zorga your own way. Be so happy playing it because it's the best deck in the game ever. Not like, I don't care about how much it wins, it's literally the most fun for me. and for a lot of people. So yeah, see you soon, stay safe, hope you enjoyed, see you soon.